Hi everyone, welcome into Cypress tutorial. Today in this tutorial we will learn how to perform API testing in Cypress. In this tutorial we will see the get and post method. Get is used to fetch the data from a server. Suppose we want to fetch the user list, so we will use the get method. Post post is used to send new data to a server. Suppose you want to create a new user. So in this scenario, you will use the post. If we send the get request, we will get the status code 200. This is the success status code. If you send the post request, in post request, we need to enter the parameters and we will get the response status code 201 resource created. In get request, we are getting the some data from the server, but in post request, we are sending a new data to the server. Suppose you want to create a new user, so I will use post request. Now, practically, I will show you how to perform the API testing using Cypress. Open VS Code, create a new test file, right click, into a new file, and then enter the test file name API testing dot dot jx. Now enter reference types is equal to Cypress, add some common details here. Remove spaces. Now remove also this time. Remove this. Now this is our get API request. So here we will use get API request and remove this all lines from here. Now inside we will create a test case. This is our get API request, and here we will enter our test name get API request. Inside this we will enter the URL and validate the response. We will use this website for performing the API testings. As you can view, if click on this, we are getting the list of the users and the response code is equal to 200. This all the information we can validate this all information in Cypress, and also we will validate the response code 200 by using assertions. So click on this link and we need to send this request. So here we will use style dot request and then we will send the get request. So here enter get. After enter the method, we need to enter the URL. We can format the document, right click format document. Now inside we will enter the URL, copy this complete URL. When we will hit this URL, we are getting this data. enter the complete URL here. Now, after sending this request, we need to validate the data. Either we are getting 200 response port. So here we will use dot then and then enter the response response we are getting the response 200. So here we need to enter the response and we need to validate we are getting 200 response. Now inside we will enter the expect response dot status dot true dot e remove from here dot two dot b and our response code is 200. So here we will enter dot equal to 200 because we are sending the get request. Our expected response pod is equal to 200 and we can validate this response page is equal to 2 per underscore page equal to 6. We can validate all the data from the response. Expect and our response body here we will enter response dot body dot to dot have dot property page 2. Suppose we want to validate this data page 2. Here enter page and then enter comma 2. Let's remove this all spaces. Now we can our test in this scenario. First it will navigate to this URL and then validate the response code is equal to 200. If we are getting the 200 response code in the response, so it means our test case has been passed and we are validate this data from the response.od. In the response body we are validate page is equal to 2. Save the test. npx cypress open. For opening the cypress is opening. You can maximize the window, click on configure, click on start do testing in Chrome. Now we need to select our test file. Our test file name is API underscore testing. Click here. Your tests are loading. Now test is running. As you can view in the request 200 and our expected response code is equal to 200 and we are getting the response code 200. Inside this we are expecting this property page is equal to 2 and our test case has been passed. Now one thing we need to be noticed here, we are not getting the response here. We need to log the response in Cypress. We can log the response by using sci dot log json dot string and then response. Now run the test, and here you can view we are getting the response here. Body page per underscore page is equal to 6. Same response we are getting here. Now I will show you how we can perform the post method. Scroll down, click on post. In the post, we need to send the URL and we will get the response of 200 bar. But in post request, we need to send some data to the server. Suppose we want to create a new user, we need to enter these parameters: name, job. Create a new test case. We need to create a new test case here. Describe API test post request. This is our post request. So here we will enter post request, comma, here round brackets and the callback function. Now enter the test case name here. It should create a new user inside we will create a test case. So first we need to enter our data here. Const user data. This is the variable name is equal to. Now inside enter the data. Name. First enter the name. SQA word. This is our name. And the second parameter we need to set job. Job. So here engineer. Directory. Now in this request we need to send the some data, and then we need to send the headers with the request. So here we will use request inside enter the method. This is our post method. So here we will enter the post method of this nice method post. In the get request, we do not define the method. We just enter get and then enter the keyword. Now, after enter the post method, we need to enter the body. Here, body, and the body is user data. Now, define this is our REST API, so we need to define the application JSON in the headers. Headers. Enter here content. This is our JSON API. So here into content type JSON. application slash JSON. Let's check the API is working. Click on this URL, and here we are getting error missing API key. How to get one? We need to open this URL. So here enter the URL, and here API key is available. Add this header to your API request. We need to add this key in our header section. Insert here. Same as we need to insert comma here. Now we are getting error because here we it go. After enter the data request, we need to enter the URL. As you can view, we need to define the URL here. URL. Inside we will enter the URL. On Chrome browser, copy this complete URL. Right click and format document. As you can view, we have defined the data cy.request post and then enter the header. But next thing here we need to do, we need to add the assertions here for verifying whether the user created successfully. So here enter dot then response callback function, and here our expected response code is 201. Use the assertions for post request. We need to define the response code is equal to 201. Response dot status dot to dot equal, and the response code is equal to 20. After validating the response code, we need to make sure that the user created successfully. So here we will use expect response dot body dot to dot have dot property name comma user data dot name. Here we are verifying the name. Same as well, we need to verify the job data in the response. Expect response dot body dot to dot have dot property job user data dot job. Now we can run our test about this. Error has been gone. Now we have completed our get API request as well post. We can run our test. Let's run the test and see what happened. As you can view, first get API request. In the get API request, verifying expected code is equal to 200, and then verify the property page is equal to true. In the post request, we are verifying create a new user response code is equal to 201, and then verifying the name and job. Same as well, we can print the response here. If enter the 200, in this scenario we are getting some error and the test case will be fail because our response code is not equal to actual result. People expected 201, but we are 200. Okay, it means we define here our expected response code is equal to 200, but actually we are getting the response code 20. Change care, again run the test, and here you can view both requests have been successfully sent. Same as well, we can print our response by using cy.log, print the response. Create a new user, and here you can view this response in body, name, and then getting the job. This is the ID, created time, and the headers. This all the information we are getting in the response. That's all for today's tutorial on API testing. We have successfully learned how to send, get, and post API requests using Cypress with simple example. I hope you found this video helpful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Desk1 for more testing tutorials.